the truth profoundly. These are Germans here. For me to the message clear. Go Paul, Das, and Paul. They say DUANE, so writer leads the way. Time to madness, it's bright. Gotta wake up, see the light.
So this started off as I was in my bedroom and just kind of shuffling through my closet, trying to decide what to wear, even though I was fully dressed. I wasn't quite sure what I was looking for to dress up for. But I was just kind of going through. For some reason, I usually don't keep my pants hanging on hangers in the closet, but for some reason, my shirts and pants, underwear, socks were all just kind of hanging in one area in the closet, which is not normal for real life, of course. Well, for the fake life, I guess is probably the best way to put it. So I'm kind of shuffling through, trying to decide what I want to wear, and the next thing I know, the shirts part. And out comes walking Eric. He just pops out of my closet in between all the clothes. His arms kind of out forward, spreading, parting the clothing. And he just kind of comes waltzing out and he just kind of says, "Hey, what's up, bro? Did you try the new Fortnite patch?" I just kind of stared at him because I haven't played Fortnite in ages. But he just kept going on and on about like the new updates and content they've added to the game. I'm just nodding along. I try being understanding and calm and accepting because that's who I am. And whether or not somebody annoys you or not, at the moment, I'm just thinking that he's still a friend. I still love him, and that's perfectly fine. And so I just let Eric rant on, and he's just going on about Fortnite like usual. But he's happy talking about it, and that's the most important thing to me, is that he's happy. Just outwardly, I feel that everybody else should be happy, whether or not I want to hear it or not. I always find myself listening. And he finally just kind of looks at me and waiting as if he's wanting me to answer. But I mean, to be honest with you, even though I was letting him rant, I tuned out to what he was saying in the dream. I caught little bits and pieces here. There's like new characters. He was really hyper focused on some new like reptile dragon character they added, and he kept going on about furries, which I think he's into slightly. Well, anyways, I just kind of nodded and it's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. And he just gives me this really big, elaborate thumbs up. And from there, he just jolts both of his arms up into the air as if he's excited and proclaiming certain things going on that, as if we had like plans and he was excited to get on about those plans. And from there, he just he grabs me. What was interesting, he kind of reached up towards my neck and grabs, like, I think it was kind of embarrassing to say, but I had a collar on of some sort. But the reality is he's the one who wanted a collar himself. But for some reason, I was wearing one. And he grabs me by it and he says, "We have to meet up. This was predetermined. This is prearranged." And the next thing I know, we just kind of like jolt forward in this fast pattern. Everything around us just kind of blurs as if we're blasting forward at like a hyperspace or something. The next thing I know, we're dancing and holding hands and running through a meadow. Honestly, frolicking through a meadow, as kind of embarrassing that is. We're just kind of dancing and just enjoying ourselves in this expansive hills, like I don't know, maybe out west in the U.S. or something. I know there's states that have these endless like hilly meadows. We're just dancing and running through them, and then just lost. lost souls in the meadows is what I was thinking. And we were just extremely happy. Just dandelions blowing in the wind, and as we're kind of dancing through and spinning, there were the seedling ones were the puffballs, and they just started puffing all over the place, the little seedlings flying about all over everywhere, just almost so densely you could almost not even see through them. Then we just stopped and held hands, both hands together, left to left, right to right, and we looked at each other. And just at the same time, it's like we both thought of Kevin. I don't know why this came to mind. And we're still holding hands, and then we kind of squint eyes, and a kind of a we felt or knew exactly what one another wanted. We closed our eyes real tight and opened and stared and squinted our eyes again. We just kind of felt like fuzz or static. Next thing I know, we're vibrating very intensely. And suddenly we appeared in a room in someone's house. I'm looking around and I'm realizing this is a living room. I don't know whose it is. I kind of giggle. But this is interesting. It's like, well, I think we just teleported, I proclaimed to Eric. And he just kind of nods as if this was his intent. I was more along for the ride, but I guess it required both of us to join in and do this. And I look over to my right, and I've never seen this individual before, but I just had this feeling that this person in this room that we seemingly teleported to was Kevin. The same Kevin that I if I remember correctly, lived with you, DUANE, and does the videos. And he just kind of waved at us, and we waved back. And I was still a little kind of like shocked, like, why do we teleport here? I mean, this is kind of cool. We teleported, but Eric's more kind of guiding this, and I'm just kind of following along. And Kevin seems happy. Just he's smiling real big. Not quite shocked, but excited that you've came. Almost as if he was expecting or waiting for us to arrive. And next thing I know, we really don't linger there for long, but we kind of gather together, and we weren't really speaking words. At least to me, it wasn't speaking words. I seen other people's mouths moving, but I could hear words, but not directly from them, more like in my head, like it was a thought speak of some sort. And we just kind of gathered around each other, not in a circle, just kind of gathered closer to each other. And next thing I know, we just began to teleport again. But next thing I knew is that it wasn't like the fuzzy sensation that we had before, the vibration teleport to Kevin's living room. But it was more kind of like a shearing sensation. Not like uncomfortable or scary. It just felt like my body from head to toe was split into multitude of planes going in different directions. Kind of like a ripping in different directions, but a good sensation. And we began just phasing out of that current room we were in. The teleportation felt rough, as if we're kind of like flopping through, not even really flying, but kind of like flopping and kind of jolting, not too intensely, but kind of through like turbulence, I guess is the best way of putting it, uncalm air. And as we're approaching, I see this light and this tunnel opening up. And I just had this sensation or thought that we were arriving in Mexico. I mean, I've never been there, so I don't know how I would know this, but we just kind of like phase into existence there, all three of us. Eric and Kevin next to me. We're just standing in a group of three of us. But as we arrive, things are a little erratic. This is the best way I can describe it. The world hasn't really quite phased in, but I feel a sense of turmoil, exhaustion, dire situation. And in a flash, almost in this blinding light, I see the American flag, but it was burning. More than half of it was gone. A lot of the states, the stars that represent the states, were gone as well. Some of the stripes remained. I looked over at Kevin, then over to our dear friend Kevin, and then back to Eric. And it didn't seem like they were seeing what I was seeing. Unfazed, but it is as if they did not see the burning American flag that I was seeing. We landed suddenly. Everything kind of came in the form and picture, merging, solidifying. I slightly lost footing when I hit the ground. The ground was shaking, which seemed to be the reason why. But I managed to keep up on my feet. I dropped to my knees. I don't know. I was overcome with a sense of worry and just dread. Existential crisis, I think, is the best way to put it. But I was worried of what I seen. I seen more than just the burning American flag. There was more, but I was kind of outside of my perception, almost as if I can mentally perceive it, but not visually. It was more emotion, sensation. Chaos just continued to ensue from that point. Just uncomfortable, unsteadiness. But yet within that uncomfort, I also felt comfort fall upon us. It was like a sudden blasting of a ray of light, just kind of embraced, and it shot through us and passed. Then, as if it turned back around and shot back through us again, back and forth, again and again. A greater power, almost as if what it felt like. It was interesting, just attempting to kind of ground us, I think is the best way to put it. And this repeated again and again. And each time this blast of light, this ray, shoot through us, then rebound back, we would feel a little bit more stable. Then it would blast again, and then I'm up on one knee versus on both. I'm beginning to regain my strength, my footing on the ground. The light blasts back again, and I'm able to climb to my feet. I'm looking around, and both Kevin and Eric are already on their feet. They're looking down at me. I'm not sure if they're concerned, but they don't even register what happened. I'm unsure. But I managed up to my feet with one more pass. The next thing I know, a man rised up. I'm not sure if it was from the ground, from a fold in space-time. Blinding light. Beams just kind of densely began to form around them, and kind of like a cascading effect, intertwining and weaving in on themselves, and then blasting directly towards us. When the light hit me specifically, the warmth just felt deep, very, very deep. So deep, I could feel it well below my weak flesh. For some reason, I just felt weak and insignificant compared to what I was experiencing. My internals lit bright, at least it felt like it lit bright from the inside out, as if I was beginning to shine from the inside out. And just I felt embraced by the rays before me. I began to feel weak, not really in a defeated manner, more in a overwhelmed, as in, should I really be experiencing this type of sensation? I fell to my knees. And without even realizing, my arms were rising high above me. As I did so, the light just began to fade. The overwhelming sensation began to subside, and I was regaining myself. But an older man with dark, hard, kind of hair, beard, sat upon a mushroom. It was a large mushroom. It was like red and white, I think, like polka dots. It began to come in focus the more I stared at it. But it was hard to tell because the light was just so still bright, I couldn't quite focus through it. I began to squint very tightly, and then raising a hand up above my face, trying to just shield the light out some because it was blinding, trying to get a look. The face was beginning to come in focus, and the only details I could really make out was the darker beard and kind of shorter hair was all connected, sideburns. But he was just staring at me in a kind of an approving fashion. I was still somewhat overwhelmed from this experience. I look up to my left and then to my right, and I can tell that Eric and Kevin seems to be affected in some sort, but almost as if they're experiencing something different than what I am at this moment. They don't seem as overwhelmed as I am, which leads me to, at least at the time, led me to believe maybe they were experiencing something else. At this point, I had found myself waking up, and that ends my experience, Dwayne.
You crew, we gather round real guys, bring the truth profound. These are Germans here, follow me to the message clear. Go Paul, Das and Paul, they say DUANE, so writer, leaves the way. Time to madness, it's blight, gotta wake up, see the light. Don't think, just feel the vibe. The sun's are gonna cause it dry. Break the chains, the mental hold. Truth unfold, the storms are guide. A cosmic drive, break the chains, the mental hold. The truth unfold, the story told. We strong, and unite front. Against the darkness, we will hunt. Time to break the simulation spell with new you power. We are skibbity new you, breaking free from the matrix. Forces lurking, reptilian scheme. That lies that control a twisted dream. You together, we rise above. Shattering the lies, spreading risky. I knew you staring at the thing to be done. Staring at the sun, the only thing to be done.